Flavor Balance Heat, the podcast for hot sauce lovers and makers, is brought to you by Scoville.com. Try Scoville.com's hot sauce subscription box, where you pick the heat, flavor, and food pairings you want in your box. Get 1 or 3 bottles delivered to your door each month. Choose your heat level, flavor profile, and food pairings. And it's completely customizable each month. You no longer have to worry about getting sauces you don't like or won't use. Scoville.com specially curates each month's box based on your personal preferences. And best of all, High Desert Sauce Co., Butterfly Bakery of Vermont, and Irish Spike's unique hot sauces are all available at Scoville.com. Welcome to Flavor Balance Heat, the podcast for hot sauce lovers and makers. Part 2 of our interview with Chef Andrew Zimmern.
So are you familiar with some of the over $100 bottles of hot sauce out on the market right now? I'm not going to name any, but are you familiar with any of them?
The ones with, I will, like the ones with truffle in them.
Oh, no, that's,
you're fired.
Yeah. Or is that a whole other level of bullshit? Because that level of bullshit is like, drives me crazy. I'm very, very happy that product seemed to have like sort of had a zenith and is now sort of like Icarus. It flew too close to the sun, is now plummeting into the ocean. And I hope we never see another bottle of that horse shit that has no truffle in it whatsoever. It has laboratory-made truffle oil as the flavor ingredient, and it is just a fucking nightmare. Unless you're talking about some other $100 bottle of hot sauce.
There are some
I'm
other
aware of.
Companies out there that make these $100 bottles of hot sauce that are definitely not worth it. Like, it's just mediocre sauce in a fancy bottle.
Oh, and they justify it because of the quality of the bottle. Yeah. Like it's cut crystal. I mean, that's all bull. You know, it's interesting for someone to say in passing, like we're talking about right now, that those exist. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It exists. Next. Because at the end of the day, the reason I go out to eat in a restaurant is to eat good food. The reason I open up a bottle of hot sauce is to taste a condiment that I'm going to like to put on food, eat with food, use as an ingredient when I'm cooking, or some combination thereof. I could care less what kind of bottle it comes in, unless it's Giving Kitchen's tamarind peach hot sauce from Irish Spikes. Because money from this goes to food to contribute to the well-being of food service workers in crisis.
Yes.
So I raised that question because Spike has roped Claire and myself into creating what he's calling the $100 hot sauce. So what ingredient, process, packaging? Sounds like you're not really a packaging guy. You're more of an ingredient guy. So what process?
No, packaging is very important. But my cars in my garage would tell you that I think style points are very, very important. Look, I want something to look good, right? I think this looks good. It's a plastic bottle, but it's got a yellow label and a different yellow top, and I just think it looks good. I think that, Mike's hot sauce is also really cool. This bottle alone probably costs $9-10 wholesale for him to package it into, right? And by the way, I think he's charging $40 or $50 for a hot sauce. I would pay $40 or $50 for this hot sauce because it's that good. And the reason is, and Zach, you brought it up, is what's in it and how long did it take the chef to make it. Now, he has things in his hot sauce that in some cases take him a year to make, certain ferments, certain ingredients that he uses just a little bit in each, 3-ounce, 3.5, 4-ounce portion of his hot sauce, that I respect enough to say, saying that's worth it. And the flavor cannot be matched elsewhere. The same reason, I hate to tell you what I pay for that mustard flour from Hokkaido, right? I mean, I'm stunned every time I buy it. Now, it lasts a long time, but the mustard seeds are harvested by hand, toasted by hand over wood fire by this one guy in this one part of this island, and then he grinds it into a flour. and packages it, and it's just beautiful. It comes in this beautiful bag with a piece of straw. I mean, it's like it looks like his family made it at the dining room table in their house, which they probably did. Those are the things that I would pay a lot of money for. Now, are there exceptions to that rule? Yes, there are. Certain olive oils that are limited edition sort of things, celebratory things. I got Tabasco. I think they had like their 100th or their 120th anniversary or some such thing. And, I got a whole set of everything from the McElhaney family, which was beautiful and great. And we used them, but one of the bottles I saved and I have it at my office on my, one of my shelves. So I think there's a place for it. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't taste good, who the fuck cares?
That's it. So I saw these $100 or more hot sauces, and the chef in me said, how can we use real processes and put really good ingredients and make a sauce that actually is worth $100, where we put the work in it to make that? And so I asked Claire and Zach. I mean, I just badgered them, really. I badgered them to do it with me.
He didn't ask shit. He demanded.
It's true. This is how I work.
It's funny. I saw a hot sauce. It would be called a hot sauce if it was bottled, but it was a sauce that was made in a restaurant with wheat lecoche, the black corn fungus that affects about 15% of the crop in Mexico. Of that, only about half of it is really harvestable. But, wheat lecoche looks grayish blue. They look like giant inflated corn kernels that have some sort of horrific mold in them. I mean, they just look like you should never eat them. Turns out they're super sweet. And when you crush them, there's this black mold inside that expands this. So it looks bluish from the outside, bluish gray. But it's black on the inside. So when you scrape it and, cook it and pass it through a chinois or something in a strainer, it's black. And I had a black hot sauce in a restaurant in Mexico City made with wheat lecoche that I thought was unbelievable. Now, they also put pureed strained corn juice in there. And obviously, corn and chilies go together like, strawberries and cream. Yeah. So it was absolutely divine. Those are the kind of things that I would certainly pay a lot for. And then there are certain herbs that I think are fantastic. I mean, I hate to keep coming back to this, but this is one of the more expensive hot sauces that I've ever seen. And yes, it's the bottle. It's got CBD in it. It's got perilla leaf and a lot of things. How he stabilizes that color in there is, a big trade secret for him. It's not beets. So it's there are certain things that I would definitely pay for. But at the end of the day, if it didn't taste good, it's all a waste.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. And that's, by the way, the truffle thing that you were talking about. We are the anti-truffle crew.
Yeah, I mean, I got this thing, truff ketchup, truff hot sauce. I mean, I'll name the company.
We all know who it is.
Good luck, truff people. But and it's like they had the hexagon-shaped top that was like a little geodesic dome, and there's all this other kind of stuff, and it came in this big black velvet and flavor of everything. The ketchup was okay, but it's fake truffle. It's just like it's fakery and flummadiddle, and I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a chemical manufactured in China.
I think we just segued into the next portion. Do you want to ask it, Claire?
Ooh, what about mushroom?
Ooh, well, we have talked about that. So This is actually, we didn't mention this. This is the last time we've been asking this question for almost a year. You're the last person we're going to ask because we have a pretty good idea of where we're going, and we could edit and we can tell you. And then, because we're not going to tell anybody else. So if you'd like us to edit that out, I would be happy to tell you what we're working on.
I would love to be surprised. So I don't want you to tell me, okay. But I would say, that whole corn and that corn world with wheat lecoche would be something that would be really, really fucking cool. And, mushrooms and other fungi, there are some that are really, really precious. They have really interesting flavors, especially when they're fermented. And so if you, and they, really, really assertive flavors that would stand up to chili heat. And so those are the first couple things that come to mind for me.
I agree. Yeah.
We've done a couple corn hot sauces and they always do tremendously well, like to the point where I'm always surprised when they do really well and I need to do more of them.
Didn't your last one taste like a burrito, you said?
Yeah, it tasted like a liquid burrito. Like, I don't
Love
know.
it.
I don't know why it just did. And it did so tomatillo corn. It did so well.
So
Yeah.
we're going to ask you a question later on about your Desert Island hot sauce, but I will tell you right now, my Desert Island hot sauce is Claire's cilantro. Claire, I'm blanking on the name.
Cilantro onion.
Yeah, cilantro onion. It's very simple, very, very simple. It's just beautiful. It is a beautiful sauce. I love it so much.
And Spike, I don't know if I have, and Zach, I don't know if I've talked to you guys since I had this realization. But like Zach, you've talked about how you like my cilantro onion hot sauce, but you don't normally like cilantro. And I get that comment a lot. And I finally realized what it is, why we get that a lot. I was talking to a farmer and I was asking him about his varieties and what he uses. Cause I thought maybe it had to do with the variety. And he said, I'll go look it up. We use whatever variety doesn't bolt early. And I was like, oh, right. Because do you guys know about bolting in like greens and such? So they a lot of herbs, lettuce, when they're ready to seed, they send up a shoot, they send up some flowers that'll produce the seeds, and that takes a lot of energy for the plant. So the plant doesn't want to get eaten once they've bolted, and so the whole plant will get really bitter. And in lettuce, it really is just awful, and you just don't eat it bolted. But in herbs, they will continue to sell those in stores, and you don't even know because they don't sell you the flower part. And it's not that bitter, but it is just a little bit more bitter, and it's got this like acrid taste. And we get ours straight from the farm, and then we throw it in the freezer and use it later. And so none of our cilantro has bolted, and so it's like sweeter and more delicious.
Awesome.
So I just realized it.
Makes sense.
I know. I was very excited when I realized that. So anyway, hot sauce, hot takes. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, which is a perfect segue because we were just going off on stuff.
Yeah. So Andrew, do you have any hot sauce, hot takes about, things that other people seem to like that you don't, or other people seem to not like and you do, things that you disagree with everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about one or referenced it earlier, and that is, the overly hot things. Yeah. I just don't, I don't see the point. I have some really nuclear hot Chinese chili oils and things like that Chinese friends have sent me from China that are fantastic, but you put a teaspoon or a tablespoon of it into like 4 portions of noodles, and it's just so beautifully intense at that level. But the idea of taking it and, dipping a chicken finger in it is just, doesn't hold any water for me.
I'm Claire George. I own Butterfly Bakery of Vermont. We make hot sauce, mustard, cookies, and granola, and 100% of our products are made with Vermont ingredients. The thing that I hear most often from people is that my hot sauce tastes like the peppers that are in it. We do really simple recipes that don't get too crazy and nitpicky, just to really accentuate the flavor of the peppers that are in there. The unique thing about our hot sauces is how much we feature the farm and the relationship with the farm, and really bring the terroir of Vermont to our hot sauces. I am pretty sure I am the #1 purchaser of Vermont-grown chili peppers. I would love it if there would be a legitimate pepper market in Vermont where people would know Vermont for its peppers. We're all better for supporting each other. And I think that part really shows itself with the collaborations that I do with the other businesses and the other farms, that I love working together and coming up with new ideas and presenting each other with new challenges. And I think overall that's the attitude here, and I absolutely love it because that's my attitude. I try to live my life with love. The ingredients that I use, I would say that my values are reflected in that I use ingredients that, again, feel good, feel loving, feel supportive. The relationship with the farmer was how it all began. If I changed the reason for it being. If I went out and bought some commodity peppers, it might not be as good.
You can find Butterfly Bakery of Vermont hot sauce, mustard, granola, and cookies at butterflybakeryvt.com.
There's a chain of chicken tender. It's a chicken tender chain, and they have like 6 flavor heat levels. There's mild all the way up to Reaper. And the Reaper one, I wish I thought of it because it's genius. You can't buy it without signing a waiver.
Are you talking about Dave's?
I am.
Okay.
Hold on. There are a lot of things like that in the chili heat world that number one, it's a falsity. Number two, once you've exchanged the money for it, a sign on the wall will do just as well. You buy a ski pass, you don't sign a waiver. It's just on the back of your ski pass. It says, by entering onto our, ski mountain, you have absolved us of all claims if you injure yourself. I just, for the life of me, think that all of those, marketing plans disguised as something that aren't marketing plans are just selling us more untruths and lies. And I'm just not into it.
I ordered the Reaper chicken and I was pissed. So angry that they made me sign a waiver. Pissed. Like I would have.
What'd you think?
It wasn't that hot. I understand I can eat really hot shit, but I would feed that to my dog.
I thought it was spicy. I did not think it was that sort of waiver inducing, wow, you really got to make sure people sign a waiver for this. But
exactly.
It's marketing. It's flummadiddle.
Point being, I will never give them any more of my money from that experience. Fuck you, Dave's Hot Chicken.
I will. I like Dave's Hot Chicken, and I'll tell you why. Their medium and the one right above medium are really tasty. Every chicken finger gets its own slice of white bread. I don't like their sauce. I don't like their pickles, but I like their tender and it comes on white bread. And I like it better than Cane. So even though it pains me to say it, I keep going back. We just had it like 2 nights ago, and it was I sat there with my son, and we just looked at each other and we're like, yeah, it's good. It's good. They have another scam, or I shouldn't say scam. They have another marketing thing, which is they do this thing called milkshake toppers. So you get like vanilla chocolate or strawberry shake or whatever, and they put like graham cracker cookies, Oreo cookies, or like Heath bar, like the generic stuff that everyone else has been doing in every single place that sells a shake ever. But because they don't mix it in, they just fill to about a ½ inch of the top and then cover the top with whatever your thing is, and you get to stir it in. They had this wonderful name for them, and I'm just like, oh my God,
man.
I think we're on Hot Sauce Show and Tell, but I made a mistake. I need to go and grab. I have a special sauce that I had set aside for you, Andrew, and I forgot.
This motherfucker.
I know. I just grabbed a different one, and I'm going to show you both because I'm excited.
Is it a New England Patriots hot sauce?
No, it's not. I did wear this hat because I know you're a big Vikings fan.
No, let me tell you something. I thought when the Patriots went away, we were done with AFC dynasties. Like, enough already. And, like, the Chiefs are going for a three-peat, and there's really no reason. If they lose, it's their own damn fault, and the whole thing is just killing me. I did like the Patriots because Belichick comes from the Parcells coaching tree, and I'm a New York Giants guy. But, yeah. All right, go get your hot sauce.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, go get your fucking hot sauce. Hey, just to clarify, I wasn't really mad about all the food talk earlier, but I am, like, starving right now.
I know.
I know. Okay, so I grew up on the East Coast, and a lot of time people can't tell when I'm just like fucking around.
I'm the same way. I've gotten poisoned like a cheap beer living here in Minnesota for 33 years, but everyone looks at me and says, "God, you swear a lot." And if I go home for a week and come home to Minnesota, everyone's like, why are you talking so fast? And I'm like, and then I realized, oh yeah, I was home.
Philly boy, yeah. Philly boy. Yeah. It's a real
I
thing.
would have felt really bad if I had not brought that.
I'm very
All right.
confused.
Okay.
All right. Hot
Hot
sauce
sauce show and tell.
There we
Go ahead, Zach.
No,
You do it.
go. No, you already did it.
Andrew, you go first.
We can do
I'm
it.
doing hot sauce show and tell.
You start,
Yep.
yes.
I showed you all of my
Oh.
hot sauces that I brought out.
Flavor Balance Heat is brought to you by High Desert Sauce Co. out of Tucson, Arizona. Zach is the owner and creative mind behind High Desert Sauce Co.'s hot sauces. He says, at High Desert Sauce Co. we make sauces that we love. The balance of bold heat and fresh flavor is the heart of our philosophy. We keep it simple by using the best ingredients we can get our hands on and letting the natural flavors run the show. High Desert Sauce Co. Just the good stuff. Visit High Desert at hdsauceco.com.
But this one, in case someone forgot, salsa de merkin.
Yeah.
And by the way, a merkin was a 17th century French pubic wig. It has double meaning. So, and that's I'm dictionary. That's in the dictionary. So I always giggle at this because I suffer from infantilism. I'm like 12 years old. But yeah, this is really, really, really unique.
I actually knew that definition from Maynard's Wine Company, Merkin Vineyards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what though?
Uh-oh.
You know what?
No,
What's
We're going for a walk.
Oh, this is almost like the last episode where Zach drove somewhere.
the one that we can't air.
No, Zach, we don't want you driving anywhere, but you were talking about corn. So John Whipfley is a chef here in the Twin Cities. He has a company called Animales Barbecue. He's half truck, half brick and mortar because his trucks are kind of like big barbecue stations with lots of outdoor equipment, and he's stationed at breweries, and he's open 9 months a year. I think he's looking at a brick and mortar space right now, but he bought a couple acres of farmland and exclusively started fooling around with hot sauces. This is a prototype. It's called Death by 1,000 Cuts, and it's yellow corn hot sauce, kind of like yours, Claire.
Yeah.
Really, 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 really good. And then the other one because everyone is always saying, oh boy, all you people, you have all of these sauces that no one else can get, or it's so rare, or I have to come to Minnesota, or it's a prototype. Every supermarket in America carries Davina's Calabrian chilies.
Yep.
Just chopped. One of the great hot condiments. It's not necessarily a sauce, but one of the great hot condiments, and I absolutely love it to death. And then I know you guys know Mozzie's Piri Piri, but for people who want like straight heat, Mozzie Piri Piri is exceptional. One of my favorites. And then this one is the exact opposite. Not a lot of heat, but it's got those special peppers that Zab's uses.
Yeah.
Regional hot sauce. I like Zab's a hell of a lot. And I told you I have a lot of hot sauces. This is the last bottle of my Andrew Zimmern sauce, which is mostly cayenne chilies, but a bunch of other stuff that don't really know. And my kid, we're very proud in Minnesota of Crybaby Craig's.
Yeah.
It's a good sauce. It's a good sauce.
I've got
right.
a Minnesota sauce for you to see, but I'll let Zach and Claire go first.
I think more people should just take us to their fridge.
Yeah,
for
that'd be
hot sauce
great.
Show and tell.
Yeah.
Like this is the best.
Like cribs back in the day, just open the fridge. This is what I got.
Yeah.
Do you want to know something? This is the honest to gosh truth. We put up polls all the time on my Substack, and we have like 50, 60,000 visitors a day to those pages. And so we get a pretty good sampling. And universally, the number one thing everyone asks for is because once or twice a year, I wind up with the camera and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot and I go in and I open up my drawer and then I start showing people things and they're like, we want to see your fridge. We want to see, what does your spice drawer look like? What does your cupboard look like? I was like, just like your cupboard's got pretzels and Rice Krispies in it and the backup mayonnaise because you can't run out of, it's pretty funny.
What you got, Claire?
I brought one that we actually already had on the show, but we couldn't air the episode. So I brought Clucky Dog.
Oh, yeah.
And that was, for listeners, we had a recording problem, but all three of us, Zac, Spike, and I, all showed up with Clucky Dog just by chance. And it was such a serendipitous moment. And we couldn't air it. And that sucked because it's a really yummy sauce. It's a really yummy wing sauce with butter and
vegan butter.
It's also called vegan. That's right. It is vegan butter. And it's also called Clucky Dog, which I just think is the best thing ever.
Are you familiar with Lucky Dog at all, Andrew?
No, I'm not.
Oh, fantastic. Really one of the best hot sauce companies in the country.
Yeah, he's out in California in the Bay Area. And he started making hot sauce kind of around the same time I did. And so I've respected him for a long time as like just really fantastic kind of, I don't know, OG sauce maker. And then we had him on the show here. And then I'm originally from the San Francisco Bay Area. So I went back home just a couple weeks ago. That's how I got COVID. And I got a chance to hang out with him for a day. And it was so much fun.
Scott's so much fun.
Yeah, he is.
Scott is great. And he's willing to engage on the internet. That's for sure.
His Pero Fortunato is, it is unbelievable. I might have to send you a bottle because it's really good. All right, Zac, what do you got?
I brought some Poli from Montana. It's his salsa verde. Sadly, I can't sample because, I can't eat spicy shit right now, or acidic shit, or fatty shit, or.
So I brought two, and so we were talking about truffles earlier. I do want to tell you that these are some friends of ours. If you see anything from California Hot Sauce Solutions, they're all absolutely fantastic, really great. And there's a bunch of different brands that come out of there. And this one was, I think this is Paul Manaker.
I think it's collaboration. If you're talking subtleties, it's collaboration.
No, well, that is, they make a subtleties sauce that has just a little bit of truffle in it, real truffle. And it's a brilliant sauce. It's the only truffle sauce that I've seen that I like. But they gave me this. This is not out anymore, but they sent it to me. But I brought it because I thought you'd appreciate it. It's made with ants.
I love it.
So caliente.
With now, is it made with chicatanas, the Mexican?
I think it
large
is.
Ants?
I think
because you can buy chicatanas in bulk. These are an ant that have a very the last section of their abdomen is very, very large. And when you toast it, it's very smoky and citrusy. The juice inside of an ant, it's blood, whatever, is one DNA molecule away from citric acid, right? So which is why certain green ants, certain red ants, certain black ants are used in cooking in a lot of different indigenous communities. And it's why chefs are using them, because some of them are very, very pronounced. And chicatanas are a legitimate cooking ingredient in Mexico, and I love them.
I can tell you this sauce is delicious. It is a very, very good sauce.
I bet.
The second one I'm bringing is a Minnesota hot sauce maker who's a friend of mine. And he's also he wanted me to tell you, he's an avid disc golf player. And so it's Sam Sauce. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but this is his Smoky J. It's the one that was on Hot Ones. And
I think I've tasted. Here's the interesting thing. There is a guy in St. Paul who did this online state of Minnesota who makes the best hot sauce contest, and he sent me like 40, 50 bottles in two categories. Right?
You're thinking of DJ. Yeah.
I think you're right. And and so I had to taste all these sauces. And I think that was one of them, and I was very impressed with it.
His banana hot sauce, I hate banana. I just hate banana. I can't even be in the house when my wife makes banana bread. But his banana hot sauce, and its first ingredient, banana, is brilliant. It's so good. So
fantastic.
Yeah, I was stunned. So yeah, and he's a chef, so he wanted me to give him a shout out for you. And there you go.
Absolutely. I love all things Minnesota.
Flavor Balance Heat, the podcast for hot sauce lovers and makers, is brought to you by Irish Spike's unique hot sauces and Vandal pepper sauces. I'm Spike, the owner and executive saucier. Our sauces are handmade in the Pacific Northwest using the best possible ingredient. We believe that hot sauce equates to a balance of sensational heat coupled with a robust and complex flavor profile. Live your hottest life with Irish Spikes. Irish Spikes unique hot sauces and Vandal pepper sauces are available at saucecult.com.
What's next for you?
There we go.
Andrew, what's next for you?
Zach, that's an interesting question. Next week, I start in on seasons 4 and 5 of Wild Game Kitchen. That'll air on Tastemade and A&E in January. I have a season in the can of another cooking show called Field to Fire. And that's coming out on Outdoor Channel in September. I think Tuesday, September 23rd is the premiere. I have a book that comes out in spring of 2025, which I know it sounds crazy, but it's kind of right around the corner.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, put it this way, it's the next spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I like to look at it. So, I've got a lot of good things going on and a lot of fun stuff. More books, more TV, more recipes, more me putting my foot in my mouth, more just buckets of awesome.
And of course,
Let's just
Giving Kitchen hot sauce.
Hey,
the world's finest. If the Lord Almighty could be bottled, this is how he would want to be represented. But I can't say this enough, and it's one of the reasons why, and I'm not afraid to say it in front of him. It's one of the reasons why I like Spike so much is that when I said let's do a hot sauce, but let's give money that we make from it to charity, he was like, okay. And I just think you guys put so much effort into this, and the product is so fantastic. I'm really excited about it. Now, one thing that I'm less excited about is that you're in 22-point type, but way over here on the side, I'm too old. I don't have a magnifying glass big enough to read my own name, but that's fine. It's not about me. It's about giving money to Giving Kitchen, which is an even bigger font.
And I remember when the first conversations we had, as you said, you put your name at the top.
100%.
You did. It was 100%. It really meant a lot to me too.
100%. It is not my thing. Number one, it's our thing, but it's more your thing, and it's Giving Kitchen's thing, and it's something that I learned a long time ago when I got sober. Much better that way.
Yeah, I agree.
Much better that way.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really been a lot of fun working with them. They're a fantastic organization.
They're amazing. Well, we have a lot of, we had a couple transitions with staff and stuff. Yeah. I've been promised the marketing plan for this. I said, look, you get one chance at a first impression. And I want to make sure that when we roll this out in the big way, and I make a lot of noise about it in all of my places that I make noise, I want to make sure that we have all of our I's dotted and T's crossed. Yes. But we've had so much great news about it. Most importantly, people love it. So
I've got some great news for you tonight. I'm going to edit this part out, but U.S. Foods is picking it up, and we is Giving Kitchen and you and everybody. They just want to see. They weren't going to pick it up because they want a sauce to be established before they take it. And so I talked to the people at the Giving Kitchen. They're going to try and get as many chefs as they can to pull it in. And so that is all they want is they want them to order it. And so they're going to do their first order. I think they're doing 100 cases. I might be wrong.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then we're also in Cisco. So now I can play them off one another.
No, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
All right. That's
100%. But we're going to start selling it, when we said we'll just put a link to your site, but it's a very, 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 it's going to be a lot of fun.
I agree. I'm really excited about it. Claire.
Andrew, do you have any questions for us?
Oh my gosh. So many. So many. After spending an hour and a half talking to Zach, the list that I have for him is endless. I mean, look at that face. I mean, but that's more of an interrogation than anything else.
I'm happy to do it, just not right now.
I was really curious. My biggest thing, it's really a 2-part question for each of you, and I'm sure it's the one that you get asked all the time, which is, you asked me what got me into this kind of food. For each of you, because I'm sure your regular listeners all know this, but give me the sentence on kind of what got you into it. And then the other question that I had for you, which is a legitimate thing, because I believe we have too many restaurant seats in America. I think that's one of our problems. If we had 15% fewer seats, I think everybody would be doing better. I just think we have too many seats. And I was wondering, when I was looking at the hot sauce aisle, in a way, do we have too many hot sauces? Is it hard for customers to find the good stuff because it's so easy for people to sell the bad stuff? I got sent hot sauces that have band names licensed on them, UFC wrestlers licensed. I mean, and they're just, white labeled crapola products. So those are the two things. How'd you start? And do we have too many sauces? Yes or no?
Who wants to go first?
I'll eat my salad.
I'll go first. Hey, my name's Zach. I'm a former drug addict and alcoholic. I got sober January 3rd, 2017, and just kind of started.
I had a January birthday, too.
Fuck yeah. I just started making hot sauce one day, man. And then, obviously I got a pretty awesome backstory about being a homeless tweaker and eating pizza out of dumpsters. And the story and the sauce just kind of got me to where I'm at. And yes, the market is oversaturated right now.
Yeah, it is.
And if Arizona's getting ready to cottage law certified foods, they're going backwards. They're going backwards.
Yep. I am also a former homeless street junkie and petty thief. So yeah. And had I had the opportunity to try certain other drugs that just weren't popular 35 years ago or whatever, I would have been a homeless tweaker too.
Yeah.
So
we have a lot in common.
Yeah, my saving grace is I'm legitimately allergic to opiates, like anaphylactic shock. So luckily I didn't go down that road. Thank fucking God, because we would not be having this conversation right now.
Yeah.
Probably not.
No, absolutely not.
Claire, you want to go?
Sure. I got into eating spicy food because of my dad. And so I was eating spicy food as a kid. I specifically remember having my first habanero when I was 9. My dad had and still has a altar to hot sauce in the dining room. And I got into making hot sauce by accident, kind of. When I met my husband, we both bonded over our love of food, and I was telling him about the things I was making, and he was making hot sauce, and I was like, "Huh, that's so weird. I never thought about making a condiment." And now that's what we do. But then a friend of mine gave me 800 pounds of chili peppers, and I was like, "What am I going to do with these?" And I made a bunch of hot sauce with them. And then in terms of the saturation of the hot sauce industry, I actually don't feel like it's oversaturated. And it's because there's the majority of the market share is still in the big players' hands. It's still Sriracha, it's still Tabasco, it's still Cholula. Those are, the craft hot sauce makers are this little tiny portion of the hot sauce market. And so to me, I'm not competing with all of those people. I am trying to steal market share away from those bigger players. That's where there's still lots of money to pull from. So, maybe it's oversaturated in that, like, the ingredient availability, the packaging availability is, makes it easy to make not great hot sauce, to just be like, I made a hot sauce by just throwing some random shit together. So in that way, yeah, but I feel like those will weed themselves out. Like it tastes like shit, so people won't eat it, and then they'll go do something else. So I don't know. I'm also a co-packer, so that the kind of, by its very nature, I kind of I'm a fan of us all doing well, because I don't just make our own sauce; I make other people's sauce too. But I still feel like we're very much in a rising tide raises all boats kind of situation with the hot sauce world. So
good to hear.
So I started. Well, I'm going to answer this a couple different ways because my dad made me love spicy food, and that's what brought me to it. But in 2007, I was the first person to go past regular college and go on to grad school. And I went to UMass for UMass Amherst in their writing program. It was at the time, I think, one of the top rated writing programs in the country. Moved my wife and my two very small kids there, and then lost all my funding when the crash happened. And a whole bunch of stuff happened, and I ended up not being able to graduate, and I had no idea what I was going to do. And I was watching TV, and between you and Alton, decided there's a pizza place down the street. We had a shares of a farm like a block away, and I'd been cooking all kinds of stuff I'd never seen before, and it was great. So I went and got a job at this little pizza place, and I had been in the restaurant business for many years doing everything in the front of the house. And suddenly I was in the back of the house, and it was like, this is where I was supposed to be. I was an awful waiter. And just, okay, now I know why, because I could just do it. And, years later, I mean, man, I've made a sauce with Alton and I've made a sauce with you. And I feel like that doesn't happen. And I will tell you one other thing that was really important to me, in that business, which I'm not really kind of am in, but am not. It's hard to stay sober. And I've been sober. We got sober the same year, you and I.
You and I?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm September 29th, so you beat me by about 8 months or so, but 7 months. But yeah.
Boy, I better not drink then.
I know. Me either. So when I started cooking, one of the very first chefs I worked with said, "You don't drink? I'm going to get you to drink." And he was trying to get me. He had no idea. And I said, do you like this place in the condition it's in? That's a bad idea, dude. And he found out later on and apologized to me. But it is a really hard business. And I found out that you were sober, and you're one of the people who got me to doing it. And it made it easier to be a sober cook. And I really appreciate that, man. I mean, seriously, I appreciate that.
It's one of the reasons I was very public about it from the get-go. Once I had a platform, soon after I sobered up, was just, it's going to do more good just to come out and say, yeah, this is what someone who's been in jail and prison and lived on the street and been homeless and taken meals in Salvation Army and stole from people to, get drugs and stole from people to get food to eat, looks like, and we shine up pretty well when we sprinkle them with love and understanding.
Yeah, I agree.
And so maybe there's something to that. Hopefully people will listen and we'll be able to do some more stuff and help some more people. I have to, we've been doing this for a while and I have to go.
We are done. Yes. Thank you so much. I know I just looked at the clock too, and we don't usually go this long. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
Great to meet you too, Zach. I mean, it's not that I don't like Claire and Spike, but I want you to start eating the food you want to eat soon.
As soon as this gallbladder comes out and I heal up enough, I'm going balls to the fucking wall. I'm going to gain the 10 pounds that I've lost in the last 6 months in 2 days.